Saadabad Square, located in District 1 of Tehran, is the second entrance to Saad-Abad Palace, one of the most beautiful areas of Tehran. Join me as I show you how you can come here without a tour leader and enjoy its beauty. In the first step, you have to enter through this door and buy your ticket with these machines. Normally, you would press the foreigner option. Then the next step asks for your phone number, which you don't need to do. Then the next step asks for the number of people, which I would enter 1. And then it shows you 12 palaces to choose from, which 10 of them are each 50,000 tumans, equivalent to $1. And 2 palaces are 100,000 tumans, equivalent to $2. Then after choosing, it charges you another amount of $2 for entering the palace area. That means if you want to see all the palaces, you have to spend $16. But let me show you a trick. When you come, don't say anything, and instead of the foreigner option, press the Iranian option. Skip this step, enter the number. The arrangement of the numbers is like English, and then you see that if you want to see all the palaces with the entrance fee, you only have to pay $1.2. Just come with one of your Iranian friends, so he can pay with his bank card. After that, you enter the entrance and encounter a crappy map that has no QR code and doesn't guide properly. Better to ignore it. After you enter, you always see a crappy car parked here, but then the beautiful nature begins. And the first palace that catches your eye is the Museum of Royal Weapons, a building with beautiful architecture and a bunch of old crappy guns inside. After continuing, you encounter a lion statue that is moaning, and next to it is the Museum of Royal Clothes, a very beautiful building with a bunch of old crappy clothes. Now I understand why that lion was moaning. Then you go to the south side and enjoy the view of the building and the scenery. Oh, it seems like they are going to have a small concert here. Okay, let's back to where we are. At the beginning of the path, you encounter a fork that all the signs direct you to the right, which I call the bad path, and on the left, which I call the good path, because it is smooth and very quiet and beautiful. Saadabad Palace has an area of about 110 hectares, and in the Qajar period, which was 100 years ago, then the Pahlavis staged a coup and took the place of the Qajars and built a few new palaces so that their family and relatives could live together. After 40 years until the revolution happened, and now most of the palaces have become museums, except for this one that is not for the public. I think it is the place of parties for this regime. At the end of the road, we reach a 3-way path, which the right one is the same but path. The middle one goes to a museum, and the left one is the continuation of the path. In addition, you can use these signboards on the way. But let me show you the bathroom of this complex before that. My poor foreigner friends. Let's move on. Here I want to introduce you to someone who will blow your mind with his art. I don't mean this man. He will give you a headache. I mean this man, Maestro Fashtian. As I understood about him and learned that the master first loved art, then went to France and found some cool friends and took LSD with them and returned to Iran and made Iranian art much better. In that museum, you can check out his artwork. Next, you get to the Museum of the Royal Kitchen, a crappy building with a bunch of pots and pans and a poor cook. After that, you get to the only cafe restaurant inside Saadabad Palace, which is very modern, old green shutters with glass walls. But before that, let me introduce you to a masterpiece by, in my opinion, the best painter and sculptor of Iran, named Bahman Mohaziz. I suggest you watch the documentary that was made at the end of his life and get to know this artist better. The name of the documentary is Fifi Howls from Happiness. Okay, let's go inside the restaurant and show you the food and prices. By scanning the QR code on the table, you can enter the restaurant menu, press the 2 lines on the top right and select English. The first one is breakfast, which the most expensive breakfast starts from $8, which takes 9% service from you and 19% you have to pay tax, which is about $10 for you. The average price of breakfast is between $3 and $8. I just don't know why their eggs are raw. This one looks like bird poop, and this one is also raw. They need Gordon Ramsay.
It's fucking raw!
The next menu is appetizer, which gives soup and fries for $2. Salads are between $4 and $5. Burger with fries is $8. Sandwiches are between $3 and $7. Pizzas are between $4 and $8, which I don't call this pizza. And the dinner menu, which is steak dishes, and its price is from $8 to $13. And then drinks and coffee and tea, which are priced between $2 and $5. And they give you such a view. Let's move on. As you continue the path, you see beautiful trees that each one was brought and planted from a different country, and there is an ID card under them that tells you their name and place of birth. As you walk a little in this beautiful environment, you see a large empty pool.
Empty.
Next to it, we get to the largest palace of Saadabad, which they named it the Mallah Museum Palace. And a giant statue of Arish Commander in front of the museum, and a large statue of Reza Shah Pahlavi. Let's skip that. The stairs of this palace are so short and good that it seems like you are walking on a smooth path. Inside you see chic decorations that I think are worth seeing. And these are the new generation of Iranian girls. After the movement of women, life, freedom, they take off their scarves and fight to get their freedom. Take care, our brave new generation. Freedom is near. And on the south side of the palace, you face another large empty pool. As you continue the path, there is a beautiful green space around you that ends at the main gate of Saad-Abad Palace, which has away from Safarani neighbourhood. But before that, you encounter the Museum of Fine Arts. How about we take an artistic shot of it? And you can see these paintings in this building. This is the first entrance, another crappy map, and a beautiful entrance. As you go straight to your right, you see another empty pool. And WC on your left. And on the left you get to the Museum of Royal Cars. The building has nothing to say, but there are classic cars and cool old motorcycles inside. And with these taxis that charge you 10,000 tumans to take you to the Green Palace, the path is uphill and long. If you are not athletic, then better go with these cars. But before that, it's better to see the military museum too. On the beautiful path of the Green Palace Museum, which is a very beautiful and comfortable path, you encounter another museum that is called the Water Museum. which shows how they used to get water from wells and how they kept water. You see some of these things in it. You have to continue the path until you get to the Green Palace Museum. Whenever you get tired in the middle of the path, it's better to stop a little and enjoy the view. And finally we arrived. The Green Palace. A very beautiful entrance and an empty hall. A very beautiful stone facade with carving of a few children on it that I don't know who they are. Inside the museum, you will see a chic decoration that I think is worth seeing, especially when you come on foot. And two sad lions at the entrance door. This pearl one is also waiting for his owner to come back. And behind the palace, you have an endless view of Tehran city, which is more visible in autumn and winter. On your way back, you encounter the museum of the Omidvar brothers, two brothers who travelled around the world on two motorcycles for 7 years. And these are also some souvenirs that they brought with them. Well, I think there are only 3 museums left. By the way, you can also play tennis here for $15 per hour. And now, Master Mehmed, one of the great masters of calligraphy in Iran. In the museum, you will see some of his calligraphic works. And a master of miniature painting named Master Hossein Bayzad. Inside the museum, you will see these paintings. In front of the museum of Master Bayzad, there is a forest path that leads you to the entrance of Darband. I want to show you something strange on this path.
Not empty.
And finally, the Museum of Royal Dishes, which has no beautiful architecture at all. Even its ceiling is damp and is getting ruined. Here, you will see a few old dishes and utensils. Well folks, that's it. The beautiful Saadabad Palace in Tehran. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you will come and visit this beautiful area easily. If you don't find an Iranian friend, you can tell me and I will get you into the palace for $1.2. It's no trouble for me because I come here every morning for a walk. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them. If you are planning to travel to Iran and you don't want to pay for a tour guide and you want to make the best use of your time, you can subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching this episode of D Trip Tricks.
Tree.